Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kayfabe Central podcast. I am your host, Josh. As always, joining me once again is Ruan Wrestling
So, guys,
and Stu World Order.
Hi guys.
We had a great time with the headlines of the week last time, and a lot of people enjoyed it. I got a lot of good feedback from the podcast of late, and you guys seem to like Ruin Stu. So, yeah, they're back for you
Woo.
guys. Um, today
age.
today we're gonna be going over um the controversial Night of Champions 2025 match card. We're gonna be doing our predictions for that, and I say controversial, and I'm sure we're going to talk about why it's controversial throughout this video, um, or this podcast or whatever. Before we get into that, make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos. If you're on Spotify, go ahead and subscribe or follow. Is it a follow button on Spotify? Subscribe,
Uh,
whatever it
I
is.
don't know.
couldn't
I don't
tell
pay
you.
for
Subscribe or
Spotify.
follow on Spotify. Yeah, check out the Ko-Fi page. I haven't posted there recently. But I am going to start back posting again. There's just been so much things going on. Um, but yeah, I will be posting on the Ko-Fi page, so go check that out. It's $5 minimum to get on the exclusive wrestling content tier. Go check out Stu World Order and Rule on Wrestling on TikTok. Stu World Order is on Instagram and YouTube, so go check him out. And yeah, we are going to get into these predictions. So this is a six match card, and
Yep.
I don't think that they're going to add anything else to this.
No, I
This
doubt it.
yeah, this seems like the typical WWE PLE card as of recent, so I don't see them adding anything else.
No.
Can't see
How
anybody
lo-
else wanting to go on it, to be fair.
Yeah,
I can't remember how long the Saudi shows even last. Usually they like B tier sort of length, or they more like or WrestleMania length. I actually can't remember.
I I think if you're looking at the card, you're going to be more sort of 2.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, seems about. That's the only positive I'll give to the Saudi Arabian pay per views. Is for us in the UK, it's a lot nicer to watch time wise.
Yes.
It's like
yeah.
4 p.m. over here, something 5 p.m. it starts.
Yeah. Although I'm actually at wrestling this Saturday, so I'm still going to have to watch it in the morning.
Oh wow.
No.
Um, yeah, over here on the eastern side, it's I think it starts at 1 o'clock, and if you
Okay.
wake up at like 12, sometimes like me, then it's a bit of a rush. But let's hope I don't wake up at 12 on Saturday.
That's not too
We wait,
bad.
what, 12 in the afternoon?
Yeah, there's times where I'll wake up at 12 in the afternoon. It's not healthy.
Were you Batman?
um yeah, I spend a lot of nights up late. So
I miss being able to do that. I used to be able to do it at university. Can't do it anymore.
Oh, to be young.
um yeah, so we're gonna get straight into this. So we were supposed to have a intercontinental championship, a men's intercontinental championship match, I should say, between AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio. However, on Monday Night Raw, we had a segment where Adam Pearce was on the phone talking about the women's tag team titles, pictures, and what they're gonna do with Raquel and Liv being out. Even though they've had a week to figure it out and should have figured it out by now, they haven't yet. Um, then AJ Styles walks in and is told by Adam Pearce that Dominic Mysterio is hurt and he won't be able to compete. AJ Styles made the joke that would a Dom strained his mustache or something like that.
Wait.
Um, I think it was Rue. I think it was your video I saw. Or maybe both of you said this. I don't think Dom is hurt. I think this was a either one of them or a mutual agreement for them both not to go to Saudi.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? I mean, I will say since I made that video, apparently in quotations here, major quotations, that Dom has sustained a rib injury, but again, and this is what they said, it only keep him out of action for a very short amount of time. It's just very convenient timing. I don't want to speculate if he is actually injured. I don't want to start speculating about someone being injured or not, because that's not fair. But if he is actually injured, then he should be back fairly soon. However, the timing you have to look at it with kind of raised eyebrows, like that's convenient.
Yeah, I agree with that one. It is very, very odd timing for somebody to all of a sudden get injured, and the fact that the match was pulled so quickly as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it was very convenient they had the replacement that they had was that pushed quicker. Uh, but yeah, the, I can't even see where he sustained it. If it was in practice, fine. As you say, it's hard to speculate if someone might actually be injured. And if it's a rib injury, well, Bianca's been out for however many months now with a finger. So
Yeah.
no, exactly. It's just a little good timing, but because the other part of it as well is, if it was to have happened so suddenly, like a Dom sort of uh, choice to stay, if that's the way he's gone. If they knew he didn't want to go to Saudi, they would never have booked this match in the first place. So if it's not an injury, it's obviously a decision. It's been made quite fast, and then they've had to quickly scramble. So that's why it's not even a case of saying, "Oh, Dom never wanted to go in the first place," because they wouldn't have booked that match to begin with. So it's obviously
agreed.
because of everything that's happened, he's obviously got, and rightfully so, by the way, absolutely rightfully so, to say, you know what, I'm not. He's a young guy. He's got a young family. Good on him if that's what he's done.
Oh yeah, no judgment here at all. If that's the
Yeah,
decision he made, obviously things escalated over the weekend, didn't they?
yeah,
In that region. So if that's the case, as you say, and really rightly pointed out, he has got a young family, and I'm surprised more of the wrestlers haven't made that decision. If that's the reason he's made the decision.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm in total agreement. I don't think that this show should be happening. And if it were to happen, it
no,
shouldn't be happening in Saudi.
yep,
WWE
Yeah,
has enough money where they could have made a last minute decision to do it at a different arena. How even in Orlando, an arena in Orlando, they could have done it. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I don't think that this should be happening, but we haven't heard anything, and they are in Saudi for SmackDown tomorrow, so
yeah,
I am assuming this is going to go on as planned.
yeah.
yeah. It looks that way.
The thing is, you've got wrestlers who want to do the show, and that's fine because they're company guys. Yeah, if you ask us to be there, we'll be there. The fact of the matter is, they shouldn't have been put in a position to have to say yes or no. There should have been somebody taking care of them, putting them first, not making them make that decision. TKO or whoever's making the decisions up top shouldn't have put them in that position to have to say yes or no. That's kind of my beef with it. You want to do the best for your employer, especially with these guys who could be pushed and unpushed so quickly. To turn around and deny something to your bosses, to say no to your bosses, it can get you de-pushed so quickly. So I understand why a lot of guys have said yes. The fact is they shouldn't have been put in that position in the first place.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I made the video on it, and that's why I said if safety is even a little bit of concern, this entire thing should be pulled in. And I've heard folk going on about, oh, TKO could lose up to 50 million or whatever. Who gives a rat's ass? So, like
Exactly,
who
exactly.
who cares? I mean, see, especially for me, I can't go too much into it, but I work in an industry where it's very much like you will not be put in that position. I do a lot of like working in that side, and if you don't want to go, don't want to do it, you don't do it. Of the employer thinks it's not safe, we won't do it. Simple as. And it just because it's WWE and it's a big fun wrestling show, that shouldn't make a difference. If
Agreed.
safety is a concern at all, then it shouldn't have been called.
100% agree.
Yeah. So
Dumbasses.
That match got replaced by two matches technically, one of which they probably have already been planning. But one of them happened just a little later on after that AJ Styles segment where Sami Zayn was backstage and was once again approached by Karrion Kross. And Karrion said, "Oh, I told you you were gonna lose to Randy. You're never gonna win a world title." And then Sammy punched the shit out of him. And then now we have Karrion Kross for Sami Zayn at Night of Champions. Now, I get that the IWC is happy that Karrion Kross is on a pay-per-view card, but I don't. The interesting thing, and I wrote this on the website, on the Kayfabe Central website, the interesting thing would be for Karrion Kross to win here, which just means Sami Zayn is going to win.
Yeah, I'm completely. I can't see a way Karrion Kross wins, unless we're starting to turn to the dark side of Sami. So even if Sami's turning to the dark side, it still means he wins. He just wins dark.
Yeah, can't change it up. I mean, I did my predictions earlier, and funnily enough, I was trying to do it a lot more less serious matter, just trying to think of what could happen. Well, but if I was just to say to me, if you would say to me right now, who, if I had to put money on it, who do you think is going to win? I would say Sami Zayn. However, in my video, I did go for Karrion Kross, but simply because, and that's what I've been kind of thinking, is the fact that this has to be Karrion's match of his career. It doesn't, he doesn't need to. I don't know. He doesn't need to. Doesn't necessarily need to win. He just needs to put on a good show here. Because if he doesn't, that is they're not going to put that faith in him again to continue on what he's going with. Now, if they do a loss, that's not the end of the world. At the end of now, yes, Karrion hasn't exactly won much, so maybe he probably could do with a win. But the win loss thing doesn't matter. He needs to actually put on a great show here, and I think Sami Zayn's a great person to put him in there, especially to tell the story of Sami losing his mind and not being able to control his emotions. And that's why I think Karrion could pick up the win here because Sami's going to get too into his own head. And at the end of it, Karrion's going to be like, I told you so. Like I told, this is you, this is Sami Zayn to a T. You can't get it done when it matters most.
You've made me nervous for the match. There's a lot riding on this
I'm
now.
good at
I
this.
don't like it.
Well, we could do punishments and make it so much worse.
So have we read the thing about Karrion not bumping?
I've seen this, yeah.
Wait, what?
So for
It's
any of you
funny.
who aren't schooled out there, apparently half the reason people backstage, now this is WWE people, there are no names on this, they're saying the reason Karrion Kross won't ever be a big star is because he won't bump, which is a very strange sport to pick if you ain't gonna bump.
Yeah.
But now, Rue, you've terrified me, and I just believe we're now witnessing the end of Karrion Kross because he's going to go out there
I
and
mean,
bump terribly. And
I mean, possibly. I mean, the video is very funny. I said, Josh, if you've not seen it, it's I believe it's from the one that kind of started it all. Was I think it's main event, and I think he's having a match with maybe Cruz del Toro,
Oh yeah,
potentially,
I
and
watched that
I
match.
think he's
Yeah,
just going for like, oh, if you have seen that one, yeah. So
yeah,
from
yeah.
there, the reports coming out that everyone's saying that, oh, he can't bump, and that's what I mean. He has to go out, and this has to be the match of his career. There's no, and not just, not maybe not necessarily from an in-ring point of view, because we've spoken about this in the past, Josh. Like, I don't think Karrion Kross is like the greatest in ring worker. His talents rely in his character, and that's what he needs to work on. And if there's someone he's in the ring with who can bring out the emotion and the character and the storytelling, it's Sami Zayn. So if you can't do it with Sami Zayn, then what's the point? That's simple as.
Yeah. Carrion's contract is also coming to an end soon, and it has yet to be renewed. So that's the thing to keep in mind. The thing that he might not be bumping could just be the fact that he's not happy with his booking. And I mean, I can't entirely blame him, but I mean, you still got to bump when you go out there. Um, it's still
yeah, well, this
professional.
apparently goes back to the NXT days.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
I didn't
wow.
realize it went by that long for him. Yeah, no. Well, as you say, yeah, it's a fundamental part of it. I think as well with Karrion the contract situation. It'll be interesting to see because I don't know the figures, but is he must surely still be in one of the kind of top merch sellers since Mania. I'm assuming since he did that interview.
Yeah.
So I guess that's part of it. Depends if WWE want to keep him on that sense. I mean, they've seen not to that extent, but what happened with R-Truth, they got rid of him. Everyone was chanting for him. Everyone was buying his merch, and as soon as he came back, everyone started buying his merch once again. And he's like, "Oh, there's money to be made here." And that's what it comes down to. As much as it's horrible to say with WWE is, if you can make us money, we want you. If Karrion's there to be able to make the money, maybe they won't stick him on like a 5-year deal, but even just to keep him around for a bit longer, they might go down that route.
Yeah. But now he's got to have the fight of his life. Damn it, Rue.
He has to. There's literally no because if he puts on an absolute stinker with Sami Zayn, then I think I'll be honest. I mean, I don't like saying like speaking ill of any wrestler. I couldn't ever do it, but like I didn't have much hope to begin with Karrion when this happened. I want to be able to believe and hope. That's why I've picked him in my predictions, and I want to see where it goes. But if he doesn't pull this out the bag, I don't see it looking too well for him.
I agree. I'm going to be sitting there watching this now like a concerned father watching his child play football for the first time. I just want him to do well.
Yeah, it's like, please just do well.
Bump, Karrion, bump.
Exactly.
So yeah, I am gonna go with Sami Zayn to win that. But yeah, you guys brought up a great point. Karrion needs to have a good showing, and he could very well be gone from the company very soon again.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. I think Sami as well.
So and like obviously I'd never advocate for anyone to lose their jobs, but I'm just analyzing the situation and like Karrion's character right now, I'm assuming it's supposed to be some sort of like Joker character where it's like he plays mind games and gets in the head of these like baby faces, but Karrion's plan just seems like he just wants to lose. Like he gets hit in the face and starts laughing afterwards and is like, "Oh, we got him." Is that going to be the same case if he loses at Night of Champions? And if so, I don't really understand that dynamic.
Yeah, it's got to have a payoff at it somehow because I was just thinking as you said that. I mean, potentially there's maybe the case again that he gets so much into Sami's head that potentially Karrion wins by DQ and Sami hits him with a chair or something. But you can just sort of see Karrion, as you said, almost in that Joker-esque mode of just I can see him kind of laughing manically in the middle of the ring whilst being hit. And that's cool and all, and actually something I'd be intrigued to see. The issue is, where do we go from here? What's the payoff? Where does the thing just turn? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to get from this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if he's trying to sort of bring about the darkness in Sami Zayn, fair enough. When we get the darkness out of Sami Zayn, you're right. What then? What's next?
Yeah. Does Karrion just move on to another babyface? Does he just try and
We
turn the
tried with
entire
AJ
roster heel?
Yeah, he just tries to corrupt everyone.
And then he turns babyface, and everybody loves him. It's genius.
Yeah, I think you've cracked it. There you
go. Yeah, so there's that. The next, I believe, replacement, or they could have had this planned, is a street fight between Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley. I am not interested in this match. I think this can go of one of two ways. I think this is going to be either Rhea just wins and this means nothing, or Raquel wins with help from Roxanne and still means nothing and makes Rhea look bad.
So
yeah, that's pretty much what I said.
Yeah, with this, I haven't been interested in Raquel Rodriguez for ever. She always kind of been Liv Morgan's puppy. When Liv Morgan went away for a while, there was just nothing about Raquel Rodriguez at all until Liv came back. However, when they had the four-way Queen of the Ring match where Rhea obviously cost her in the end, she was amazing in that match. Raquel
Yep.
Rodriguez was. She shone out of the four of them in that match, and that was a decent four people to be in with as well. So yeah, that's just intrigued me slightly. So now I'm a bit different to Josh, as I do care a little bit about this match, just because I think it might actually be a really, really good match.
They definitely have the possibility, and this is something I don't know how much you know. I'll go back. I've seen from 2019 NXT, and I said this in my video was Raquel and Rhea put on some fantastic matches for the NXT Women's title. It was Raquel that ended up taking it off of Rhea, so the two can put on a fantastic match. And if this was 2019, I would be like, hell yeah, this is going to be fantastic. But recently, I don't quite know how it's going to go. I think this will either be like this could either be match of the night or a really boring match. I don't know what way around it's going to go. For I did see apparently once again, which kind of sucks is this has been thrown together because of the Liv injury. So apparently it was meant to be Liv and Io at Night of Champions. And that's what
Mm.
obviously that's had to change quite drastically. Um, so the way I look at it, and it's pretty much almost identical to what Josh said, but with a slight maybe added on bit would be the easy option is probably just go with Rhea winning because it's Rhea. Like there's no really other way of putting that is Rhea Ripley. The other option, as Josh said, is having Raquel win with the help of Roxanne. But from there, and it's apparently they are going to go down the route of having Roxanne just take over Liv's spot in the women's tag as a women's tag team champion alongside Raquel. So we seen on Monday when Roxanne helped Raquel put Rhea through the table. You could see Raquel kind of embracing her a little bit.
Yeah,
So
she
I
picked her up,
wonder
didn't she?
exactly. So I wonder if at the pay per view, which I still call it, I do this in my videos all the time, rather than a PLE, I still call it pay per view.
Yeah, me too.
At Night of Champions, yeah, exactly. At Night of Champions, I think, and the way I've gone down it is I'm going to pick Raquel with the help of Roxanne, and then that allows Raquel to sort of fully now put her trust in Roxanne, and they'll carry the tag team championships going forward. And as much as I don't want this match that I'm about to suggest, it seems like we could go down this route for Evolution. We could get the potential Roxanne and Raquel versus Rhea and Nikki Bella that was potentially brought up. With maybe even Nikki Bella making an appearance at Night of Champions. Maybe after the match they're beating down Rhea and Nikki comes out. I don't want to see the match, but I have heard rumblings of that was one of the thoughts originally for Evolution, having Liv and Raquel taking on Nikki and Rhea.
That doesn't excite me.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that one. I think it's more interesting. Again, it's more interesting if Raquel Rodriguez picks up the win because it gives everybody something to do as well.
Yeah.
Rhea's not going to be doing anything championship wise for a while, or B at least up until SummerSlam. And she's kind of now Queen of the Ring's over, going to be treading water for a little bit. So this gives her a program to take on Raquel and Roxanne. Yeah, it gives her something to do at Evolution, even though that's something to do is just freaking woeful. I know Nikki Bella apparently spearheaded the entire women's revolution. So good for her. I mean, thank God it wasn't left in the hands of Becky Lynch or Mercedes Moné or Charlotte Flair or even people before that. I don't know. It's horrible. But yeah, I think Raquel Rodriguez is going to win because it's going to be more interesting if she does. Sorry, I've gone down a tangent of Nikki
No,
Bella
I
hating.
agree. No, I agree with one the Raquel thing. I think it's more interesting for her to do that because if Rhea wins, then it's just Rhea wins. Like that's it. Like nothing else happens.
See, I'm just gonna go with the simple route, which WWE tends to take a lot, and gonna pick Rhea to win this. And the beatdown could still happen after the match with Nikki Bella coming out. And yeah, like you guys said, not something that excites me, but I think a lot of fans, particularly the IWC community, would appreciate this match. Um, and probably not for the wrestling, but they would appreciate the match. So yeah, I definitely see them going that route with the tag title match, and a lot of people are gonna be mad that Rhea is being relegated to the tag division, but they did the same thing to Bianca Belair, and like Stu said,
Yeah.
there's she's not going to be in the world title picture anytime soon. Um, Io could have a potential opponent for SummerSlam, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. And Tiffany has, a whole bunch of things going on SmackDown. So yeah, this is the best bet for her. And yeah, we'll get into if Rhea and Nikki take those titles off them. I don't think that should be the case, but we will cross that bridge when we get there.
We'll cross that
Yeah,
horrendous bridge when it
when it
happens.
gets there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, what you're saying, just I totally agree with though with Rio because I think as Stu said, he's going to be, or he's going to be, she's going to be, sorry, treading for water, but well, they're very
Not
wrong.
that much.
Careful there.
but I think it works well because you use a perfect example in Bianca. Now, I've said from the beginning of me when I started this TED Talk that Bianca Belair was a character I never really got behind fully, and it wasn't until she got put into the tag division I started to be like, wait, there's something here now, and I am now, the biggest fan, but I'm now a fan of Bianca Belair, and it's the same you're currently going on with Charlotte, and I think that they need to bring them down a little bit, and you see her in that kind of not at the top of the women's division of SmackDown, and it makes her a lot more likable and more that you want to actually see on the screen. And the example I always use, I don't know if you remember this, I go back to was Roman Reigns' two and only United States title reign and IC title reign, especially the IC title reign when he was in the midst of the big dog when everyone hated it. And his US title reign and IC ones were actually really good, being brought down the card. I mean, he had his feud with Rusev over the US one. Then his feud with Miz, by the way, was bloody iconic for the IC one. One of the most underrated feuds ever, and I'll stand by that. Roman Reigns versus the Miz for the IC title. It just makes them a lot more likable. It makes them a lot more personable. You want to actually get behind them, and it's something. It's really special with Rhea Ripley. Now I love Rhea Ripley. I don't have any hate for her at all. But you do see quite a few folk in the IWC, particularly going on this whole like Mammy Hogan slope. So maybe bringing her a few steps away from the main event just for a little while is probably going to do the world of good.
Yeah, I think you're right. There was a slight murmuring of anti-Rhea Ripley-ness before WrestleMania, and
Yeah,
I think if she'd have gone over at WrestleMania, that would be worse. Now, I think the best thing that happened to Rhea Ripley was not winning the title at WrestleMania,
agreed.
because I think you'd have gone down the John Cena route with her. And also, example-wise, Rue and Josh, was John Cena. He
Yeah,
was probably at his most popular when he was doing the US Open Challenge.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, yeah, and I think it gives the women's tag division a chance because they've really been doing nothing with the women's tag division. I mean, like Natty and Maxine have been doing nothing other than just being backstage. Um,
Sheamus's like cheerleaders.
yeah. Um, so adding these like even like vets, I guess you could call them at this point, to the tag division, like Rhea, like Charlotte and Alexa, um, is actually I think is going to be really good for the tag division.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some tag teams in the tag division.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Um. So I mentioned this just a little bit ago. Um. We have the Queen of the Ring tournament final. It's Asuka versus Jade Cargill, and I am iffy about this one. Now, I put on the website, on the Kayfabe Central website, for Asuka to win this. However, I still don't fully know because I'm waiting for SmackDown tomorrow night. If and I think this is going to happen. I think Naomi cashes in tomorrow, and
Oh,
What?
I think the cash in happens tomorrow on SmackDown,
oh wait,
Oh, of course, it's the
yeah, I
last
forgot
man
about that.
standing, isn't
He's
it? Yeah.
and then Jade Cargill wins this final match, and then we get Naomi and Jade at at SummerSlam. There also is the possibility if Naomi doesn't cash in that Asuka wins and we get Asuka versus Io.
Yeah. As
Right, you two have ruined this for me now. You've ruined it. Rue convinced me last week that Asuka was definitely winning and definitely fighting Io Sky at SummerSlam. So I put my house on that. And now Josh has come back with very convincing reason as to why the exact opposite is going to happen. So do you know what? I'm not guessing.
See when you start see the stuff like this, and it's like one of the few times you have to go like fair play to WWE. But it's like when you get to this point, you're like, there's nothing you can say. You're going to get in your own head about it. So that's like me. Like I, until a week and a half ago, was fully on board with Jade winning. You couldn't have convinced me any other way. Some of the people in the tournament were interesting, but I was like, no, Jade's winning this. And then that freaking match where Asuka came back, and I was like, just watching it, and I was like, she's going to win this damn tournament, isn't she? And now she's in the final. And I have no idea what way it's going to go. I'm sticking with Jade because I don't know. That's literally the only reason. I'm going with it, but I'll go with Jade. But yeah, it's actually interesting. I completely forgot about the last woman standing match on Friday, which I. This is the thing when it comes to the briefcase, particularly with Triple H. Unless there's a reason for Naomi to be stopped, but even at that, I don't know why MD would stop her. If she doesn't cash in, then what is the point in the briefcase?
Yeah.
Like, it's the last woman standing. Like, that's when the whole point is they're meant to
Literally.
put the person down. So, like, and even if Tiffy, which I'm sure Tiffy will win, that's not, I don't think that's up in there. She'll be so knackered, surely. Like just in kayfabe, like, you'd be stupid not to cash in.
Oh, 100%. That match is made to cash in.
Exactly. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes. Either way, I think what we've said is true. I think we are going to be getting Jade in some form in a title match at SummerSlam, whether that is against Naomi or whether that is against Tiffany, with maybe Naomi cashing in then at that point. I don't know, but I think Asuka and Io is pretty much on the table. I think that's what's going to happen. And it's funny with the whole Queen of the Ring because I have picked Jade. However, I do think Asuka could do with it more. But I'm a man of my word. I've stuck with Jade from the start. I'm not changing. But I'm also scared.
Well,
So
I'm not a man of my word. I'm not a man of my word at all. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to base a prediction on something we never base predictions on in wrestling. I'm going to base my prediction on who's the best wrestler. So I'm going to
yeah,
go Asuka just because she's better. That's it. I can't let you guys get in my head anymore.
That's it. Sometimes you just need to take a stab at it and go, you know what, it's going to be this. But yeah, I think it'll be a good match. I'm looking forward to it. I think Jade still, I feel bad saying this because like I don't like judging anyone on the wrestling. I can't do it. So who am I to judge? But I think Jade, especially in this tournament, has when she's not in a tag team with like Bianca and stuff, there have been signs of you forget still how kind of green she is. She's not she knows what she's doing. But there's elements like those. That Roxanne Perez match was good in places, but then really sloppy in others.
It was a bit clunky.
It was, yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see how she gels with someone like Asuka, who knows an absolute vet and has been in there for so long, and is one of the best in the world. So I'm intrigued to see how Jade gets on.
We also got to take into consideration that Asuka and Io face off, that like little segment that they had happened during commercial break.
It did, yes,
And
which I didn't even realize.
yeah,
I
and
was
a
going to
lot
say,
of
I watched it the day afterwards. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
um
interesting.
so yeah, that happened during commercial break, and a lot of the time when WWE does that, it's like we brought this up before, like their trial run, I guess. Like, oh, this could happen, but if it doesn't, the American audience didn't see it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that seems about right. So wait, Stu, did you say you haven't actually seen this at all?
Yeah, I hadn't
Oh,
seen it. So they faced off at some point, did they?
yeah. So during one of the, as Josh said, one of the commercial breaks, obviously when you watch it live Netflix, we get to obviously see what's going on, and they had
Yeah.
Asuka goes backstage. Io came and joined her, and Asuka basically said to her, quite just got to the point. She was like, "I'll win Queen of the Ring, and then at SummerSlam we can have the Asuka versus Io Sky match that we always dreamed of." And Io was like, "Pretty much, I would like that," and then walked away. So not foreshadowing anything at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sense a subtle hint at something. I'm not sure what.
So yeah, I'm waiting for SmackDown tomorrow to make my final prediction on this Queen of the Ring final. As of right now, I am going to say Jade Cargill wins because, like Rue said, it would be stupid for you to not cash in after a last woman standing match. And there's also the possibility, and a lot of people are not going to like this, but I don't know if you guys remember when that like little documentary thing came out and the potential matches for WrestleMania were on that board. Um, Jade Cargill and Nia Jax was one of the matches that they had listed. So it is possible that Nia Jax could win tomorrow night and we get Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax.
No, all right. I try to be as positive as I can about wrestling. I cannot begin to tell you how much I do not want to see that.
Basically, doesn't it mean that Tiffy's entire title reign was then a waste of time?
Oh God,
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, I hope not either.
That's
And if that happens, I can't see Naomi cashing in on Nia Jax. So I'm going to assume if Nia wins tomorrow, Jade beats Nia at SummerSlam for the title and Naomi cashes in there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. If that is what's going to happen, I think that's almost to the nail what's exactly going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I've had a really bad day at work today, and I was coming on here to enjoy myself and like set myself up, but you guys are just depressing the hell out of me.
I'm sorry, I had to throw it out there because it did just come to mind.
It's an awful thought.
Oh God.
Okay, we are gonna have to do a second part to this, so I will be right back.
Damn it, Rue.
Okay, we're back. So yeah, we were talking about the potential of Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. Obviously not the greatest option to go with. And yeah, I'm with you guys. I hope they don't go that route, but it is WWE at the end of the day. And if this was something that they had in mind from before, I wouldn't put it past them to go back to it.
Yeah, to want to run it back. I actually completely forgot about that. The board from Mania. Yeah, if he said it's obviously been on their mind at some point. Whether they want to execute that still, we'll have to wait and see. I hope not, but it's obviously something that has crossed their mind at some point.
I'm hoping when it was on the board, they all looked at it and was like, "This is a terrible idea." So didn't do it.
Hopefully. So on the King of the Ring side final, we have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. And I don't see Randy Orton winning this. I think this is almost guaranteed to be Cody Rhodes going over.
Yeah.
Yep, I've spawned.
Yeah.
There's much else to say on that.
It'll be clean as well.
I think so. I totally agree. I've seen a lot of folks saying they're like really like they're not excited for the match, or they're like, "Oh, why is this the first time we're getting Cody versus Randy here?" But like, I generally think this will lead into a trilogy, if not more, of matches between Cody and Randy. At some point, I think it could potentially lead to a Randy heel turn. I know everyone wants to, obviously we're talking about the Cody one at the minute. I think the Cody one is going to happen at some point. I still think we are a little bit away from it. So potentially a Randy one. And the other thing as well that I was thinking about is Randy obviously still has that punt in his back pocket that he's wanting to break out, and it was meant to be for Kevin Owens, but Kevin never got it. If there's one crazy bastard on that roster who'll be happy to take it and put him over, it's Cody. So we could potentially, maybe not at the event, but I think we could see a Randy heel turn on Cody Rhodes, and Cody will be eating a punt at some point.
I like that idea. I miss Randy's punt.
I know, it's such a good move.
Yeah,
sometimes he actually looks like he really wants to follow through as well.
yeah, I'm with you. I don't think if either of them were to turn heel, I don't think it's gonna happen at this. I think the finish is going to be clean. But
Yep.
it is very possible one of the two could turn heel. If Randy loses this, then yeah, it definitely could be Randy that is the one that turns heel, unless Cody comes up short at SummerSlam against John Cena, and that's what triggers the heel turn.
But that's what I'm not excited for. It's not so much Cody winning the King of the Ring, but I'm just not ready to run Cena Cody back yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully if they do run it back, we don't see any Mr. Travis Scott getting involved. But yeah, I'm not excited for that match after what's happened previously between the two. But no, I think this will be a good match. It'll be good to finally see Cody and Randy properly going at it. And yeah, I think it will be, as you said, Josh. I think Cody will go fairly clean. I'm sure Randy will shake his hand, but I think down the line we could get a heel turn shot to Nick. I've seen so many folk again just being like usual IWC going so mental for it and be like, oh, I can't believe they're doing it here, blah 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 blah. But I'm not intrigued in this match. Or it's two baby faces going at it. But like, I'll remind everyone that like the KO Cody feud of last year, apart from Drew and CM Punk, that's its own thing and its own stratosphere. The Cody KO feud was one of the best feuds of last year, and it started by two friends having a match at Bash and Berlin. So just because Cody and Randy are having the first match here of face versus face, that doesn't mean it can't lead to one of the most evil, sadistic, best feuds of the year quite easily.
Your encyclopedic photographic wrestling memory never ceases to amaze me, Rue.
I just notice every little detail.
I agree. I think, yeah. After you, Josh.
No, go ahead.
I just say I agree with Rue. I know Cody has said publicly now that he believes he's coming towards the end of his babyface run.
Yeah.
But I think if it makes more sense for Randy to do it, unless the shock happens at Night of Champions and Randy wins. Again, I'm not excited for Randy and John Cena to be run back yet either. So I think that's my problem with this final is it was the match at SummerSlam I was more thinking of rather than who won at King of the Ring. And I think that the match at SummerSlam would have just been infinitely more interesting had it been Sami Zayn or had it been Jade rather than Cody or Randy, which we've already done.
Yeah, I think it also made it a bit too predictable. That's why I was really shocked when Randy beat Sami. Now, obviously, they've had the whole Karrion Kross angle in the back pocket, but I thought if he at least has Sami versus Cody, that put a big asterisk over who could win this. Whereas I think it's fairly obvious that Cody will win because if I mean, I just don't see a world where Randy wins. That's the only way I can go about it. It's got to be Cody.
It's the same world where Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill is a good match.
Exactly. So you just took that unpredictability right out of it. And also just on topic, but off topic, quickly about it. I don't know if you've seen the podcast yet with Cody and KO on Cody's one. I've seen bits, but honestly, I couldn't recommend it more. It's probably one of my favourite watches I've ever seen. It's so funny. I would highly recommend.
Awesome.
Yeah, I definitely have been wanting to check that episode out. I haven't watched the previous ones. I think the only one I watched was the Brandy one. I only saw clips of the Damian Priest one. But yeah, the KO one is
I watched a little bit of that. I watched the Truth one. Yeah,
which one?
The KO one's good. The Truth one, sorry. Yeah, our Truth one. Right before he got released for the first time originally, which was only like a week or two before it, which sucked. But no, the KO one's very good. I would highly recommend. They just
This is why y'all
don't
staying
care.
up late at night.
Sitting and watching podcasts. That was pretty accurate, to be honest with you.
This is why
No, I
Josh
still
stays
get
up
the
at 4 o'clock midday.
I wish I could do that. I can't do that anymore. No, they literally just they do not care, and that's what makes it so funny. They end up calling out, which is definitely it's meant to be censored. They call out a wrestler for like being too overcharging in the promoters, and they like bleep out in the episode. And the bloody wrestler in question went on Twitter basically to confirm that they were talking about him, and went on a massive rant. And of course, it was bloody Ryback.
Yep.
He outed himself, even though they blanked it in the episode.
That I saw. That yeah, I saw that like not too long before we got on here. I was like, oh wow.
He like outed himself from it. It's a great watch. They go into it. They don't hold back. They're really open about everything. It's really interesting to watch. Talk about the Bucks and talk about AEW. It's a good watch.
Awesome. We could do a whole episode, by the way, on Ryback and his delusions in life.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
20 likes and we'll do that episode. So next we have a United States Championship match for with Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. This match makes sense. I think that this match was bound to happen, and this should be a solid match. I'm pretty sure that Jacob Fatu is going to retain here. There is the possibility that JC Mateo could get involved and help Solo win. We could see Hikuleo make an appearance finally. That could happen, but I am going to stick with Jacob Fatu retaining.
That's a smart option, to be honest with you. Yeah, because you don't want to bet against Jacob Fatu, and I am not a smart man, and therefore I am not going with. I absolutely adore Jacob Fatu. I do. I think he's easily world champion material. But honestly, I was not a big Solo Sikoa fan, especially in the OG Bloodline, the whole enforcer role. I never really liked it. This new Solo, I love. He just doesn't care. I think it's fantastic, and out of just sheer interest and just now love for him, I've actually picked Solo to win here. But I think it's very, very likely if he does win, it will only be through, in typical Bloodline fashion, interference. If it's first on JC Mateo, we could easily see a returning Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. We could see them come back in, and as you said, potentially debuting Hikuleo. That's the only way Solo wins here, because it still keeps Jacob strong. Jacob losing here doesn't make him look weak because he's had to be put down by 5 Bloodline members. So I think that's fine. So I think he's fine to lose. I just really want to see Solo with the belt and just being Solo Sikoa currently. I love Jacob Fatu, I absolutely adore the man, and I want to see him go off and do amazing things. So if Jacob retains, I wouldn't mind, because US champion Jacob, I'm quite happy with that. But part of me really wants to see Solo Sikoa now with the belt.
Well, I'm going to jump on what you said there, Rue. I am also reputedly not a smart man, and you said that's the only way Solo can win. I disagree. I think there's another way Solo can win. It is with help, but it's with help from a big brother.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So first of all, I completely repeat back to you what you said. I love Jacob Fatu. I think he's a sensation, and him and Bron Breakker, WrestleMania main event after WrestleMania main event after WrestleMania main event. I can't wait for that era to begin. I love Solo Sikoa. I felt bad for his sort of beginning half of 2025.
Yep.
It just sort of got relegated into nothingness. And what he's done is basically use this opportunity to carve out a brand new type of character for himself. And the dude is hilarious. He's so funny. Even when Jacob grabbed his ankle on the ladder when he was going for the Money in the Bank, the like 30 seconds it took him to realize what was happening was just gold to me.
Yeah.
However, I think
good.
He is. And I think, do you remember like a couple of weeks ago, we had him trying to get Jimmy back into the family?
Yeah.
And then it sort of that disappeared for a little bit. Has he already convinced Jimmy?
It's not something I've thought about it. It's definitely a possibility. And bring Jimmy back in. I mean, I'd be intriguing to see. I mean, as you said, like with Solo, particularly currently, like I seen the way someone described him. He was like, was he had like he had like the in ring like kind of domination of like the LA Uso, not LA Usos, penitentiary like Usos and all that in ring prowess, but they had like the like comedy of both of them combined. Because you watch him,
Yes.
and like this just looks like more specifically Jimmy. I would say I think he's the funnier of the Usos. So
Yeah.
he's definitely. I mean, it could well happen. I think either way, like, I don't think Solo would. There's no way Solo wins clean. That's straight away.
100% no.
He will not win clean. It will be with interference somehow. If he does win, that is. Um, I mean, I wouldn't
It's a
necessarily.
big if.
It's a big if, because it is Jacob Fatu. Though in saying that, Solo Simone Spike's probably one of the most protected finishers probably in the WWE currently. I mean, it's what cost Cody multiple matches with Roman Reigns, and it cost Drew McIntyre, it cost everyone. So I mean, I'd be intrigued. It'd be interesting to see, especially if Big Jim comes into because especially, I mean, was there not talks about early 2025 of Jimmy getting a US title shot? So I wonder if this helps. It could help him get into the mold that way.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see the guy have something to do.
Yeah, because he's so
Yeah,
charismatic.
he's a waste. I mean, he's not overshadowed by his brother, but they've been so Jey Uso oriented that Jimmy's only really sort of existed in Jey's sphere, basically. I mean, the most interest we had in Jimmy Uso this year so far was when he got involved in a Jey Gunther
Mm.
feud, and he lit that feud up. Jimmy literally was responsible for people caring about that match at WrestleMania. So I think as reward, give him something meaty to do, and I think a little hill turn. Um, According to every match at Night of Champions so far, I've got somebody turning heel. So there's not going to be many baby faces left after Saturday.
Oh God.
Um, yeah, so it is very possible that Solo can win. Um, I think it's, in my opinion, maybe a 60-40 chance in favor of Jacob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Um,
probably sounded about right.
so yeah, that could, I didn't think about the Jimmy heel turn though. In my mind, I was thinking that Jimmy would just come out to help Jacob again.
which is probably what's going to happen. But in my idealistic world, where interesting things happen in every single match, Jimmy turns heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense in the back of mind. The only kind of part that if he wasn't to turn heel, and I really don't actually want to see this match here, would be if Tamatonga and Tongaloa aren't fit to come back. We could have. Oh no, but there's JC Mateo. He's really easily forgettable, isn't he, JC Mateo? I forgot he was there because I was going to say, oh, maybe if Hikuleo debuts, he can help. He can be in as a force and all that. Because to say maybe it's SummerSlam, they do. If Jimmy wasn't to turn, we could do Jacob and Jimmy versus Solo and Hikuleo. I don't really want to see that, to be honest with you. But
No.
it's a hard one. I would say the smart option is to go once again is to go Jacob Fatu, because why would you bet against Jacob Fatu? But as we quite rightly said, myself and Stu are not smart, and we are betting against Jacob Fatu.
Also, again, if Jacob Fatu wins, what next for Solo?
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna have a little faction. Of course, he's gonna have his faction, but it's a faction that are basically born on a loser, which doesn't sit comfortably with me. That I mean, he'll always be golden. He'll always make everything he does brilliant. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just concerned for him, and I just want to see him have a bit of success in 2025. He hit 2024 banging, and then all of a sudden 2025 he's kind of an afterthought apart from what he's done himself, which is get himself kind of over.
Yeah. Um, Me and my friend were talking about this. We were having a conversation about the whole Solo and Jacob thing, and if this was after Jimmy came out to help Jacob, and we thought about the possibility of Solo having his little faction and Jey Uso not having anything to do now, coming over to SmackDown to help Jacob and Jimmy. And then we get a little bit of a bloodline feud.
So rather than like a tag team, you could do a trios, the Usos and Fatu versus I don't know Solo, JC, and Hikuleo or something, depending who's around.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
okay with that. First of all, Josh, I can't believe you were talking to friends who weren't me or Rue. How dare you?
um
I have no second of all.
but yeah, that's also a possibility. But in the end of it, we could just have potential interruptions. Jacob clears house, Jimmy helps clear house, and Jacob just retains.
Just standard bloodline practice. We've been seeing it for the last 4 years now, so it's that's what I mean. There's a formula to the bloodline matches. If that's the route they're going to go down, as you said, I think it's a really simple and standard way that they can do it. It's one of those. Once again, I've picked Solo to win, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Jacob retained.
I actually quite like your idea though, Josh, of the little mini bloodline feud with Jay getting involved because he is kind of not got anything else to do at the moment. So I'm down with that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should agree. Yeah.
So a title that I don't think is changing hands at this pay-per-view as well is the Undisputed WWE Championship, which is going to be defended by John Cena against CM Punk. Now, the talk of since this match has been announced is nobody can believe CM Punk is actually doing this match. And I believe we did talk about this on the podcast. I can't fully remember.
We did because I said there wasn't a chance in hell that he was going, and I have been proven so wrong.
Yeah, so they're going forward with this, and yeah, I guess they just don't care. I guess CM Punk was just like, okay, I'll just say yes, and we're gonna do it, and forget everything else that I've said before. I think John Cena is going to retain, probably by doing his thing with hitting him Punk with the belt again. Yeah,
His brand new finisher.
I hate that finish so much.
How dumb are referees these days? Do you know what you should do? Don't ban people from ringside. Ban the belt from ringside, so you're not allowed to bring that down.
I know. I said this to Josh Emma way back. I hate this. Let me see. Like WrestleMania was bad enough. The match was crap. It was long. Travis Scott came out. It was bad. But honestly, what annoyed me more than anything was when he hit Cody with the belt and pinned him. Because I was sat there fully convinced, like, he's not, he's going to kick out, and he just didn't. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? And then that's how he's won pretty much every way since, and I hate it.
Literally, it's how he's lost every match as well. He's like
I know.
By hitting somebody with a belt over the head. What's that belt made of? Like freaking 40-inch steel or something?
Apparently so.
Yeah, he lost R-Truth by hitting him with the belt on SmackDown.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
He's literally living and dying by his own sword.
Which is something else they could run back because now technically they are 1-1.
That is true, actually. I did think that on Friday. Obviously, the bit afterwards was what they were leading to. But at first, on Friday night, when him and R-Truth had that match, the way it ended, I was sat there like I was like, seriously? Like, what? And where does it? And obviously, if you take the pipe bomb bit out of it, it's kind of like, where does this go now for R-Truth? You've brought him back, and you had that match happen in a couple of minutes. Like, what do we do now?
Well, he's going to feud with Kit Wilson now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, apparently so. I think honestly, just stick him and Damien as a tag team. Why not? Put them together.
Screw it.
I mean, they teased a
I
feud between him and Aleister Black.
They did.
They did, which is very, very interesting. Though I would say if that was to lead to anything down the line, unfortunately, again, for Truth, as much as I love him, I think that would lead to probably more likely being a Priest versus Black. If you had two very similar aesthetics with two different styles of wrestling, could work well. Sorry, this is completely off topic from the from the WWE Championship match, but
It wasn't me
you
this time. I didn't do it. Rue did it this time.
but no, I will bring it back. But yes, okay. So I will say that I think Cena's going to win because it would be stupid to not say that. So that's my prediction. Cena wins. But now let me throw some more wrestling pixie dust into there and say what I
Yay.
think could happen. I think it could be a draw, and I'll explain
Ooh.
Whoa.
as to why. So I don't know how if you are familiar with the amazing pay per view that was Night of Champions 2012. We
Yep.
had, let's see, Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio World Heavyweight Championship match. Eve versus Layla for the Divas Championship. Randy Orton versus Dolph Ziggler, just to name a few. Yeah, this match actually sounds quite good.
Oh, I know
Intercontinental
where you're
Championship
going
match.
with this.
Miz versus Ray. Exactly, that's what I love. So I wonder if they have a great match, Cena and Buck. That's the one thing I will say, actually, kind of without joking around, is I do, out of all of Cena's matches, this is the one I think has potential to actually be pretty good because they
That
had
could be
that quick,
epic.
yeah, they had that quick like 10 minutes in the Elimination Chamber, and it was really good. So hopefully, this is actually quite a decent match. Anyway, get to the end of the match. Um, Something happens, whatever, and then Punk rolls up Cena to pin him. Blah, blah, 1, 2, 3. Punk wins. Punk is the new WWE champion. As the ref's going to give the belt to Punk, he gets a wee thing in his ear to say, you can see him saying to Punk, I'm sorry. He goes over to the announcer, or the ringside announcer, and he announces that unfortunately both men's shoulders were down on the mat, so therefore it's a draw, and still your WWE Undisputed Champion is John Cena. Literally what happened, but with opposite sides of Night of Champions 2012, when it was Punk this time getting it over Cena. Just saying.
Yeesh. To be
Just saying.
fair, that's probably the best outcome.
Because then you get the pop for Punk winning. Punk has a legitimate, like, sort of wee bit of powder to hold over Cena to say, I did beat you, but equally Cena beat Punk. So we can always run it back if we want to. Like, I don't know what the plans are. Obviously, the easiest option is just they have a great match and Cena wins. It's simple as like that's the easy option. But I like to think a wee bit different. Give a different option.
I have a question. So I personally have no massive problem with CM Punk being really anti Saudi Arabia, then kind of going back on his word and going out to Saudi Arabia. However, if you're very, very publicly going to backtrack on everything you hold dear, are you not going out there with some slight assurances? It's got to be worth him going out there for him to go out there.
That's a good point because apparently, the quote unquote Saudi payday is no longer written into their contracts. When it first started, they used to get massive bonuses for going. Apparently, that isn't a thing anymore. So there's not even a
Yeah.
financial incentive for them to go. So I mean,
So I'm wondering, why would he go? Why would he so publicly kind of make a fool of himself if it's not going to be worth it on the back end?
that's very true because it's not like he just said, "Oh yeah, I don't agree with this." That was quite a harsh words he said to the Miz, and I think he full well
Yeah.
knows he's going to look like the biggest hypocrite on the planet, which is part of Cena's pipe bomb that I loved because everything he said was true. Ironically, now about Punk instead. Um,
I loved it.
oh, it's so good. But yeah, I mean, you make a very very valid point. Like I said, unless he has also that, unless he's just gone, you know what? Uh, I was wrong. Whatever, fair enough. But if it's not that, he said there's got to be a reason, surely.
That being said, I think Cena's going to win.
Yeah,
But-
obviously.
Yeah.
But that's little thing sticking in the back of my head. Like, have they tried to make it really, really worth it for him to go out there? It might not be a win, but it might be something a bit special, bit different happening.
The Rock, finally.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, that's the only reason I'm slightly excited if Cody wins King of the Ring. That's the only reason I can think that might be a slightly interesting SummerSlam match.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was literally about to ask that question. Like, do we actually think we'll see The Rock back? Like, I can't tell at the minute.
I don't think so.
It just feel like if he wanted to be back, he would have been back surely for Mania. Surely.
Oh no,
But
he just
I don't
wanted
know.
to let them do their thing.
I know.
Yeah, that was
I
really
wouldn't.
nice of him. Thank you, Rock. What a guy.
Thanks, Rock. Thanks, Rock.
um
Actually, let's just slate him down some more, man. He ain't the boss of us. He's TKO's boss. Screw you, Rock. You screwed us all. You made Travis Scott look like a fool just wandering out on his own, like a doddering child who was just lost and confused.
Actually, speaking of The Rock, that's another thing to just plug another podcast, by the way, in which actually I from it took something that's not Stuart, sorry, Josh, you said it's true. CVV's most recent interview, where one of his most recent ones with Ethan Page. Firstly, I know what you mean when you close your eyes and listen to me. Sounds like bloody Kermit the Frog.
Yes.
So I know what you mean. I mean, secondly, yeah, it's really funny because he'll talk about the final boss and everyone's booing, and Ethan Page is just playing into it. He's like, "Oh, the Rock's my friend." No, he's like, I want to be with the Rock." I'm like, "Yes, Ethan Page, get in there with the Rock, do it."
Absolutely. I love that, man.
So,
but yeah, so I don't think there's a chance that CM Punk wins. I mean, Rue, you could have a great point where they could just go back to that same ending from 2012. Um yeah,
yeah.
I don't think that a cash in from Seth happens here. I don't see that happening.
No,
Not this match.
no, unless Punk just won. That's the only reason. But even that, I don't think Punk's actually going to win.
Yeah.
So
No.
I don't see
Not in this match.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, actually, that's a good point. Sorry, going off energy. I'm trying to think when he would potentially Cody.
Hmm.
Yeah, Seth's in a weird position at the minute. It's weird for how cool the group is and all that. They really seem to be kind of floundering a little bit.
They're terrible. They've been booked so badly. Thank God Braun won on Monday.
Oh no,
Yeah.
great match by the way.
Yeah, really good match. Really good match. That was the best I've seen Braun for a while.
Yeah.
And Penta.
100%.
Agreed.
Um but yeah, so that is Night of Champions 2025. Um on paper, not the greatest card. Um, but if you really like look down and analyze some of these matches, they have the potential to be really good. And um, a point about Cena and Punk, I actually don't think this is going to be that great of a match. I don't have faith
Yeah,
in it
interest.
being a good match.
Give us your
It'll be
reasons,
interesting
Josh.
to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys disagree with anything we said. If you have anything else to add, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Leave your comments on YouTube or Spotify. I'll see them and I'll try to reply as much as I can. Go subscribe to the Ko-Fi page. It's $5 minimum to subscribe to that tier. Go follow Stu World Order on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Go follow Ruan Wrestling on TikTok. Their stuff is always in the description below. And yeah, anything else you guys would like to add?
Josh, I just want to say you're an amazing host. Thank you for reining me and Ruin a lot.
Of
Otherwise,
course,
we're talking for days.
Second that. Thank you for once again having us on. I always enjoy these. They're very, very fun.
of course, anytime. And we will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.